welcome to Upturned Table, and today we have quite a treat. This is an object, a very amazing object by Haxan Studios. This is Astro Inferno. You can see, so this is their legendary edition, so a little bit extra, some gold on the pages. There's a map inside, some extra stuff, but really beautiful book. I can't wait to take a look at this. So they did two editions. They did a standard edition, which the coloration is different. I think it's red on the edging, but the paper that they used, standard edition, was just sheer white paper. This is kind of a cream color, so they altered the art specifically for this edition. It's a bit hard to see, but yeah, really nice details. I can't wait to take a look at this. And we also have a GM screen and some tarot cards to look at. So let's dig into this. All right. So here's our satanic journal and our map. Oh, it looks like a contract. Excellent. Yes. So what is Astro Inferno? So Astro Inferno is a mythical odyssey into legendary satanic space. The air vibrated with the ether as the death singers gathered on the cliff overlooking the soul loom. "There's got to be another way up there," said the thief, king in anger, unloading a huge smoking machine gun covered in blood, runes spelling out its name pulsated in a sickly amber glow. The wet soil around the weapon started to fizzle and fume. "You saw what those creatures did to the Chamberlain," blurted the defiler. "His body is lost to us. Only the Dark Lord knows where this soul is now. If he was on his last verse, he would be gone forever." In the silence that followed, a small hum started whirring from the huge Genesis soul setting down along the cliff. His massive robotic limbs moved so slowly, now compared to his aggressive ferociousness in the skirmish earlier. Piece by piece, he cleaned the chunks of aberrant smoking black flesh from himself as small diagnostic lights lit across his shell. So there's a little piece of fiction. I think that gives you a taste of what we're in for. Yeah, so this is legendary edition of Astro Inferno, and they are already back at crowdfunding after they fulfilled this with an expanded campaign. So initially there was an idea for a starting adventure that would be included. They decided to expand it into a larger campaign, and that I'll put a link to is going to be crowdfunding as of this recording. So nice. Encircle the entity you summon. Nice. So a lot of interesting mix of sci-fi and like cyber tech, and of course a lot of religions, ideas of hell and spirituality and souls. So it's full of amazing art and amazing ideas. So let's take a look. So the cover is like a paper cover. They didn't do any fake leather treatment or anything, but they did a nice foil. There's nice foil detailing, as you can see. It matches the edges there. So we have the inverted cross on the front. And both editions of the books looked very similar. They were so successful in their campaign that both of them are pretty well enhanced with a lot of ribbon bookmarkers and details. But this one has different art. So we may have to censor some of this. The uncensored version, of course, will be available on our Patreon, so I'll leave the link to that as well. The other nice thing about this edition is it's an unattached binding, so the book will lay flatter. So it'll be good to take a look at it this way. Very easy to see. So Canto number 1. When I had journeyed half of our life's way, I found myself within a shadowed forest, for I had lost the path that does not stray. Sounds very Dante's Inferno. Book 1 of man's first disobedience and the fruit of the forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into the world and all our woe. Wow, yeah. So nice treatment. Yeah, so they did an effect. They've got gold edging on the pages, and then they did an effect so it looks like an aged tome. So this contains content not suitable for children or sensitive souls. Explicit content. Yeah, so they put that on a lot of their media. So NC-17. So let's see what they exactly mean by that. Mature and dark themes. The content of this book explores psychological, cosmic, religious, and occult horror. There are explicit examples of physical, mental abuse, violence, sexual assault, religious exploitation, child abuse, mental illness, kidnapping, abduction, animal cruelty, death, pregnancy, childbirth, miscarriages, abortion, drug use, self-harm, suicide, blood, death, the occult practices, ritual magic, summoning, paranormal, supernatural elements are explored, as well as transhumanism and post-humanism and bigotry of all types. So that's pretty much got you covered. I think we just demonetized ourselves just reading that. So take a look at this on the Patreon, because it may not be on our YouTube for long. Robbing life out of the jaws of death. Yeah, this is, wow. Every page has got this treatment. This is insane. It looks like a very old release, a very old tome. Do not mistake numbers for strength. 10,000 sheep will be devoured by a single wolf. O reader of mind, bind thy spirit unto me, a sacrifice of divinity. Infuse these pages forever in the dew of God. Torn asunder thy stars, ravaged by the vibrance of colors and darkness, so black and full of hate, so black and full of hate. Go restless into the night, by the spear, by the sword, the spell. Found not in tongue, found not in light. This is the binding. Hark, and angels of corruption, heralds of ruin, ripe with blood, honey, their decrepit world of thousands descendant, feeding the millions lust, Amon Atep, Agra of Lefit. Wow, there's a ton. Yeah, I like this. This font was on their Kickstarter page. That's a nice script, like hand script looking font, calligraphic looking deal. All right. And here's our sodium chloride. So sulfur and mercury, the components, and more quotes. Oh yeah, this was on the website as well. Yeah, this is Dr. Montgomery Wild. So fathomless, I thought I knew what the word meant. I have gazed out the windows of starships in the days before the great fog, and behold the light of countless stars shining from the galaxies away. My journeys beyond have brought me face to face with titans who had witnessed the enormity of all time. I have plunged the impossible depths below the ice of hell's lowest circle and looked upon the moorings that pinned down Satan's chains. None of that had prepared me for the abyss. To look upon something truly endless is to court madness. Even though I stepped back from the edge and abandoned my expedition, I think part of me is lost to that place. Worse still, I fear that something else, something terrible, has filled that void. From the audio journal. So that reads like a Lovecraft. Wow, already, yeah, we've got some great art. Really heavy, I think 150 gram paper. Yeah, so that's why. So it's a really thick book. I think it's only like 220 pages, but a very, very thick book because they went with a really nice paper stock. This is just, quite an object. And kind of, I think their aesthetic is more, Morkborg and, this grimdark kind of new, very heavily designed aesthetic. So we're going to see a nice kind of mashup of, things that look like manuscripts and ancient tomes with more modern, more futuristic and modern layouts. The world was on fire, rising like chimeric thorns. They prayed for their gods, but were met in silence. And Satan answered. So creation in ashes. The rapture, all the days. Yeah, so they're talking, I think one of the big beginning events is you're all humans that fled kind of the end of the world and took refuge in space stations. Book 1 is the flesh. Book 2, the blood. Book 3, the ripe flesh, hot blood, and hollow heart. So we've got our introduction, the fractured world, mechanics, and the souls, the form, powers, dark marks, destiny, skills, the art of dying, conflict, rituals, alchemy, traveling. Then the second book is the Unlaw, the Existence, the Satanic Creed, the Herod, Babylon, the Midnight Sea. So some, locations. Yeah, there's a lot. Troubles and Treasures, Death and Decay, yeah. And then book 3, the Hollow Heart, is the Game Master section. And yeah, it looks like we've got some micro adventures here to start running things. Yeah, I hope this is showing up on camera. This is really quite a thing. And it's nice, it's not glossy, so you're not seeing a lot of glare. So here lies Hell, the Citadel, Babylon, the Thorn of Nodlogi, and Satan's Ball, Lake of Fire, Blood Mists of Korholta, Cryptoplants, the Genesis algorithm. All right, so here's the introduction. So this will give us a sense. Yeah, really, really gorgeous art. So yeah, mythic horror and glorious death. So in this section, you will learn about the basics of role-playing and some of the key concepts unique to Astro Inferno. If you are a veteran role player, you can skip the concepts. So yeah, what is a role-playing game? The standard include, so yeah, kind of the default definition. I'm interested more in the setting. So the Descent of Azael, a four-winged machine angel corrupted, the assault of Nardos, still in fresh memory among the souls, resurrected by the great Abamox, Flem Bishop of Dreams at the glorious Church of Fruit in the blackened Nardos. So goal of the game, the real goal is to have fun. The GM is responsible. Yeah, we're still in the definitions of the game concepts. So rules as a saga. So Astro Inferno has a rule set built for epic and mythic tales. Many rules are not defined by mechanical values or fixed outcomes, but instead relying on storytelling aspects and more floating solutions to be interpreted by the players or the GM. The GM has much more responsibility in this kind of game, since they have the power to decide the outcome of things in the end. Everything boils down to the overarching rule. The GM may set aside any rule and simply dictate how story progresses. So I guess they're saying story first already. The Burning Palace, Throne of Prometheus. Seeking the advice of Prometheus is generally regarded as suicide, but still advisable in many instances. The story is the most important thing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess that's the most important thing, and must always be the focus. You should not. You should think of it as a myth being retold, and try to avoid getting stuck to the smaller details. A lucky character may perform many actions at once, progressing through various layers of the scene, but the mechanics of how they were able to do this are not the focus. The story is. A great die roll could let a player climb a wall, sneak into a guard's room, or steal a key. The focus should be on the thief silently jumps out of the window with a key in hand, and as the guard turns around reaching for another beer, but not that the guards in the room or what they're wearing or how they're armed. Let the story flow through the rules, and let the story be the rules. Create your own myths. So the party is a group of characters that the players portray and is referred to as the party, and it should be considered the entity in most regards and have at least one common goal. Still, the characters in it can be completely different from one another, and each with individual motives and disagreements and even dislikes towards each other. Some turbulence and dynamics within a party can be good for the story. If too much friction between the characters to the point where it's hindering the enjoyment of the game, the GM may step in and talk to the players about how to solve these issues. It's often better to let the party's story continue instead of focusing on individual characters' beliefs or goals, even if such endeavors, even though they can be a lot of fun when used in the right amount. So definitions. So Astro Inferno uses certain terms. The journey, a collective sheet that the party shares. Session refers to a single instance or meeting. A verse is a very short period of time. The duration depends on what events are depicted. A scene is an undetermined period of time that usually consists of the same characters in the same setting. Downtime is an undefined period of time where the characters do normal, unspecified, or very particular tasks that would be boring to portray in-game. Pilgrims of the Shimmer, daring travelers of the void, to travel the fracture, to dive head first into the unknown. Dark waters, death can be lurking right beneath the surface. So here's the tiers. So many things in Astro Inferno are divided into 5 general tiers. The mundane, the ordinary. 3rd is excellent. 4th is masterful. And 5th is legendary. So examples are for mundane, worse than expected. For ordinary, as to be expected. For an item that's excellent, a special item that stands out among others. And a legendary item would be an item of legend or gods. So the distances are intimate, room, hall, palace, and city. Well, that's interesting to actually state them architecturally as opposed to far, near, close. The dice you'll need are D4 through D20s. But heck, get some types, get some of the types while you're at it. There's lots of them. So D30s, D40s, D80s, D100s. So I guess very VTT friendly. You can just write in anything you need. D5, 7, 9, and 11 are just a D6, but re-rolling wherever the highest, whenever you roll the highest number. So there may things be listed with all kinds of dungeon crawl classics, strange dice, satanic dice. So there's a satanic D100, a D66, and a D, of course, 666. So I wonder if you put that in. I don't think, you're going to have to program that. I don't think anything's going to know implicitly how to roll a D666. Numbers between 111 and 666. With a total of 56 outcomes. All right, the fracture. So humanity is lost, Earth is lost, the universe is lost. So the universe is shattered. Everything is unraveled. Physical laws have been replaced by something more sinister. Inhabitants call the unholy chaos the fracture, a dark void where mythic places exist within walking distance of each other and yet are eternities apart, where dark power rules with the laws as inverted Davidian psalms, where slaves and kings pray to the Dark One for salvation. The divinity only exists as an obscure parameter in an AI mainframe. So many things in the fracture revolve around the primordial forces or elements or ether and unlight. While ether is sparking and colorful, unlit and is dim and thick, it is believed that each is respectively related to the Eternals, the entities of order, and to the worm gods, the entities of chaos. Little is known for certain about any of these matters, though. So the ancient origins of the gods, so the dead gods, the titans, and ancient tech. And then Genesis origins are machine angels, red gods, Holtzfields, and Genesis tech. So they have deep lore that delves into religion, myth, and science. And the Herod origins are Satan, seven kings, satanic princes. Secular origin are secular tech. The Sea of Samigna. And the arcane arts, alchemy, rituals, abyssal rituals, divine, and witchcraft. This is great. Just endless, endless great art. Wow. The Last Humble Soul. So blackened Reverend of the Church of Truths. The Black Kingdom. So locations and the horizons and the maps. So in the fracture, there are no planets, continents, or worlds. There are only locations. A location can be as large as a city surrounding its surrounding desert, or as small as a lonely cottage atop a cliff, and even a small space station floating through open space. So everything is very abstract. Timeline in the fracture, or of the fracture. History keeping is not the strong suit of the cursed inhabitants of the fracture. So the present, as the warmongering havoc of the great dark faded away, souls began to gain more control over their lives with the disappearance of Satan and the true unlight, no longer omnipotent, the omnipotent force they once were. A semblance of medieval society emerged from the remnants of pure chaos, pain, suffering, and eternal carnage. The fracture exists in a fragile equilibrium where the true unlight and the ascended maintain a sort of truce, employing souls of their pawns as their pawns and puppets. So fallen angels, the rulers of this world, souls. The bulk of the fracture's inhabitants are referred to as souls. Most were human once, but the majority lost their humanity in time, and darkness ravaged their minds. So you have the undying and the dark souls and nanosuits. Satanic entities, Genesis soul, and Lilith. So let's go through a little bit. So few in number, the undying are actually surviving humans from 2688's Earth. Dark souls are human souls tainted by the dark powers. Nanosuits are human souls that have been infected by the red dust from the regenesis, but somehow create a symbiotic relationship with it. Satanic entities are highly corrupted human souls. Genesis souls are, during the regenesis, some machines were, for various reasons, either digitally or organically rigged with human souls. After the rapture, some of these machines were disconnected from their hosts and mainframes, restarting into a new existence. And Lilith. Some of the true demons that escaped the rapture were the Liliths, who now take refuge from the fallen rulers by hiding in human bodies. They are beings from the beyond. Wow. Of Death Singers, the chosen souls who defy the unknown outside the safety of the settlements. Their destiny is death, and they measure their life in song. So I think this is the player characters are all the true death of a death singer. When a death singer reaches their last song, they sometimes settle down in a quiet place far away from other souls and let their lives play out. So all death singers are blessed by a master, an entity of light or dark, or something in between, who has chosen them as their champion. Each master grants their champion powers and blessings, and most notably save them from dying. This is something many masters use as a bargaining tool to keep their puppet loyal and faithful. In a death singer's spirit, if it becomes too corrupted, however, the master can't or won't save them anymore, leaving them to face the true death, just like all other souls. So being a death singer puts you in a spotlight of all the powers in the fracture. Souls fear you, fallen angels envy you, and even the primordial powers of the Eternals and worm gods are curious about the peculiar irregularity in your cosmic force that you represent. Nice. Yeah, really great art. The story stakes system. So here's an example of the exchange between some players. And so, yeah, this gets us into the mechanics. So checks in the game. So the fast-paced mechanics of Astro Inferno are designed to be midway between old-school simulation and modern storytelling. The system consists of checks made to your qualities and skills. The lower you roll, the better the result. So for checks, there are no specific turn orders among the players. You just naturally build a great story together. Every time the character does something that is an action, whenever the character performs an action that could go wrong, you may make a check, rolling a d20 and hoping the result is under your goal, the relevant skill or quality value. If you roll equal to or less than your goal and no more than 16, you succeed, earning 1 story point for each multiple of 5 below the goal. If you roll a 1, you perfect the check, doubling the story points, and you earn also awards with skill points. So the rewards are leveling. So chapter 31, when rolling a perfect check, the 1 on the die is regarded as a 0. So the roll of 1 against a goal of 5 would win 2 story points. All right. Yeah, so they give some examples. And a botch is a natural 20. Failure is 16 or above. And below or equal to 16 is or to 16 and the goal is a success. Oh, or the goal, I see. And a natural 1 is a perfect. So story points. You earn story points by rolling lower than your goal, and you may use them in various ways, but only before new actions are taken, not counting those introduced by the story points themselves, of course. And in some situations, the game may make suggestions, all in the name of a good story. So don't let spending story points slow you down. Slow down the game with tactical overthinking. Often it makes for a better and more immersive experience just to go with the first thing you think of. So spending points, successfully perform an extra action, perform an effect based on the number of points, introduce an aspect, or introduce a truth. So it's your story. Actions, aspects, and truths generally work best when they're closely connected to the story and aren't too powerful. These guidelines are highly subjective, though, since some groups enjoy stories with nonsensical or overpowered elements, while others prefer to keep things very gritty and real. So check modifiers, straining your sanity, offerings. So yeah, a D6, so -5 on a dice results to strain your sanity. So wait a minute, how does this work? So you can push yourself to improve your results on any check, but this strains your sanity. So after rolling the check, you may reduce the result by 5 to a minimum of 1 and lose 1d6 or half as much, depending on your inner demon's kink. See chapter 12. We'll get there. Satiating demons. So this can be repeated as many times as you want, as long as you have at least 1 sanity point. Interesting. So decrease your sanity, and then offerings. The GM may spice things up by proposing automatically to fail a check already rolled for. And this calls for an offering that may involve experience points, stats such as sanity, life, or aura. Alternate checks, complex checks, panic checks. Sometimes the action may be too hopeless to the point where the DM determines you cannot even attempt it. So you can, however, ask to roll impossible actions as a panic check in order to try. You roll against the value of the goal divided by 5. Failures are resolved as botches. Oh yeah, have we seen the botch rolls yet? And complex tasks. Some objectives are too complex to accomplish with a single action. Yeah, so kind of extended tasks. An example of research. So investigating or studying something is often considered a complex task, which might not provide only story-related information, but also rewards like experience and permanent improvements. Aspects and truths. So both aspects and truths are ways to introduce new elements into the campaign and into the ongoing narrative, and introduce an aspect of truth becoming part of the reality. So an aspect of truth is either supernatural or universal, and has a base cost of 1 story point, or 2 if it is both. Anything that is highly unlikely in a given situation is considered supernatural, while anything that affects a large collective is considered universal. So the door is unlocked, or the enemy suddenly is feeling empathy for you. The city is rainy. The sky is darkened with an unexpected eclipse. The house is made of stone. Ooh, that's 3. Wow, yeah, so you are having to spend a lot to manipulate and filled. The napkin is filled with secret notes about the Duke. The population is well educated. The village is built around a river of boiling acid. 5 story points. So cost of the aspects and truths are not definitive in any way. The GM is encouraged to improvise. So affecting the future and the past. So aspects are rarely just coincidence of action that led to their introduction. They're much more than that. They have the potential to introduce brand new pre-existing elements of the story. So everything is aspects and truths. Finally, checks and other mechanics aren't the only way to introduce them. In fact, literally everything known about the game world counts as an aspect or truth. Information introduced by the GM through the session, lore cited in this or other books or as part of Astro Inferno's mythos, and even consequences of player action not formally introduced as an aspect or truth. When in doubt, always ask. So for example, is the building made of stone? The GM answers, yes, that is a truth. The building is made of stone. Wow. Yeah, lots of great art. And they did, so much effect. So we're still seeing that paper effect on every page, even if it's got a lot of black. So impact on gameplay. First of all, consider the narrative effect of aspects and truths, logical stuff that everyone agrees upon without affecting the game, without having specific mechanical effects. As for mechanical impact, though, before every check you roll, you may claim that one related aspect or truth has helped you in your action. If the GM approves, you get an extra story point on success. So the GM using aspects and truths. So the GM may also affect your actions using aspects and truths. The usual way of doing this is by requiring a number of story points to be spent. If this requirement of such of the check isn't met, it is considered a failure and thus doesn't generate any story points. So examples: since the tome is cursed, you lose 3 sanity every time you interact with it. Or since the drink is harvested from Freyr's hair, you heal 5 health if you drink it. Since the city is boiling with unlight, you get 1 aura each day spent in it. Since the food is poisoned, anyone eating it will become ill. And since you are huge, you don't fit in the sewer tunnel at all. And so finally, remember again that aspects and truths are much more than just sources of mechanical effects. They are an intrinsic part of the game world, which can have much greater impact on the story outside of checks, or even have no impact at all, besides being memorable quirks that everyone enjoys. So the soul. So these are our characters. So the 2 main types of values that describe your character are qualities and skills. Qualities are the inherent attributes, while skills are your capacities and expertise. So you have 3 stats: life, sanity, and aura, which determine the resistance to different perils in the world and various features. They're represented by, it looks like crossed swords, are a special effect that you have access to. So the qualities are psych, speed, cognition, drive, charisma, and spirit. Yeah, so there's social roles. Brute strength is, physique. Physique. I'm reading poorly. So brute strength, speed is reflexes, cognition is knowledge, drive is willpower. Charisma is likability and presence. And so the skills related to those are, so there are 9 skill trees. Oh, wow. A skill tree system, which are categories that group together related skills. Each of them govern qualities. The governing quality only matters during character creation. So whenever something affects a skill tree, it means it affects the skills within it. So you get a bonus of +3 in affinity that you can increase all skills within the tree by +3. So yeah, affinity, arcane arts, crafts, infernal survival, literacy, movement, perception. Oh, perception is charisma. Interesting. A soul's ability to interpret thoughts and feelings. Shadowry and warfare. And then there are expert truths. So you gain new expert truths in each quality and skill every 20 steps. And so you create that truth yourself under the supervision of the GM. So your stats are life, sanity, and aura. And features. Oh yeah, so this is the little special effect. So optional effects you can use sometimes at a cost and sometimes with a limited number of uses per session, which you would keep track of by checking the box beside them on your character sheet. And you can, so they may come from various sources and are always marked with that little features symbol across swords. You're free to give them aspects or effects affected by your master's domain. So a golden glow, heal 106 health. Due to their brief descriptions, features tend to be open to interpretation. And then value meanings. So value qualities and skills are hard to measure in the Satanic universe, where the power or renown is certain. Being held is more subjective than definitive. So this table can give you an idea of the potential competence a soul has in a certain field. Oh, so yeah, this is the values. 0 is infant, 5 is peasant, apprentice, veteran, expert, master, paragon, hero, legend, myth, and divinity. And for your renown, it's nothing until 15, and then you're noticed all the way to worshipped. So creating a soul. So you are a death singer, chosen by an elevated entity or deity to support their cause in the blackened kingdom. So in order to create a character, get a pencil and a character sheet and a notepad and some dice. Creating a character may take a while, and it is not something you do in a minute. So 4 phases will mold your character with real tangible persona within the world of the fracture. So summary, so your form, your destiny, so your physical body is your form, your destiny is your chosen path. And alternate light characters, so unaware death singers. This alternate light version of character creation can be expanded upon to use any or all of the full rule set. So they have kind of a quick way to do it. So when generating an unaware death singer, ignore the following steps. So 3 through 5, master, corruption, and dark marks. An unaware character is naturally less powerful, has fewer abilities, but it is compatible in other ways. An unaware character is a perfect way of introducing players to the game as a death singer yet to be introduced to their powers. Oh, kind of an unawoken. All right, so the form, your body. So choose your form. So chapter 3, or this in the Satanic Journal. We'll take a look at that in a bit. Your qualities, who's your master, and your corruptions. All right. And so here's an already statted out satanic entity. And then you've got your dark marks. Oh, so 3. So master through dark marks are for the the unaware are left blank. So yeah, corruptions, dark marks, and then quality values and expert truths. And then your destiny. So choose your destiny bonuses, and your skills, and then destiny features, your inner demon. Oh, they've got a little bit of detail in here. So add the skill tree governing the quality, divided by 2. Add a bonus of +5, or add 5 bonus of +5, add 5 +3. And for your inner demon, you get to roll on a D20 or more, adding something. And you go from lust, hunger, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride, reroll, increase your power, or unknown demon. And then your starting equipment is in the same chapter 19, and your finishing touches, so your past. So a D20 for what, a D20 for who or where, and how. So for example, let's just say you were charmed by the abyss and drunk on black honey. So those all have kind of character creation effects. So interesting. So it may fit what you're doing, or it may not. You could get some surprise skills in the arcane arts. Yeah, so then write your past, the phrase of your past, and add your bonuses. Oh, and what are we doing here? So 1, oh, that's right. This was your past, the finishing touches. 2 is your blood. So add up all blood ether bonuses, if any, and fill in the blood field, and the final skill values, and expert truths. Your stats and threshold for your 3 stats. All right, and then depth of souls. So identity, character truth, quirks, and name. So the embarking. When all characters are created, use the embarking in the Satanic Journal to bond them together with each other and give them some connections to the world of the fracture, and finally give them a welcome scene to start their journey. The form. So Undying Dark Soul Nanosuit. Oh yeah, so this is the forms we talked about. So kind of, yeah, your class. So hopefully it fits what you imagined. You never died. So you're starting also a D20 for your master and your starting qualities. All right. So your corruptions and your dark mark is another D20. Oh, I see. So, yeah, the chances of having the different masters. So, yeah, this is the Undying class that never died, and yeah, so everyone starts with different qualities, and then gets boosted up from there. And the Dark Soul has different chances and different masters, and yeah, different starting qualities. Your soul has been tainted. The nanosuit, you're mostly machine. You're not really human. And you can, yeah, the eternal is a possibility here. Your speed is pretty high. Exalted primeval. The worm god is 1 to 6. Wow, yeah, your physical and speed are very high. Satanic entity. Physical is high, and your cognition. And yeah, ancient entity, machine angel. Nice. It came from the abyss. Yeah, I'm not noticing. Thank goodness we haven't had anything. I haven't seen anything we'd have to censor so far, so that's good, because I was worried they said that this version has, maybe some uncropped or uncensored art, and there wasn't anything so far. We haven't gotten to all of the sins and kinks and stuff yet, but and this is the Lilith, the last one. So Worm God is only on a 1, and you have good cognition and charisma. And then this is describing the masters, and then the skills that they imbue you with. So you can roll randomly. So for some reason, you need randomly determine your master entity. Use this table. So the worm gods can give you hatred or life, halt, rot, fear, chaos, discord. Fallen entities can give you Asundius, Baal, Beleth, Belial, Paimon, Person, Zagan. Egyptian entities give you Anubis, Hathor, Horus, Osiris, Set, Thoth. The Chthonic entities give you Hades, Hecates, Hypnos, Nyx, nice, Thanatos, and Tharon. Interesting, yeah, all the levels of blessing. Olympian entities, Aphrodite, Apollo, Ares, Artemis, Athena, Demeter, and Dionysus, Hephaestus, Hermes, and Poseidon. Yeah, so they all give you different domains, symbols, or your blessings. Vanir entities, Freya, Freyr, Nord. Asir entities, Idun, Loki, Odin, Thor, Tyr, and then others. The Cheshire Cat, the Hangman, and what is that? The Narlathoth Tep, God of a Thousand Faces. It's an elder god, right? Isn't that Lovecraft? And then the Unchained One, a god of freedom and dreams. A lost god. So yeah, I think you get to choose once you've rolled the kind of domain of your entity. You can choose, and then based on the blessings that they give you. Machine Angels, Afriel, Agagliel, Barachiel, Tassiel, Gabriel, Nakir. Eternals, love, death, time, purity, courage, trust, and law. And then your postcedent powers. So getting postcedent power is one of the highest rewards in Astro Inferno, turning into an avatar of your master, and you select the coveted champion, above all others. When you gain one, you roll a d10, each two power tables indicated by the source. Oh, wow. So here's your big tables once you get your post. Yes. So, yeah, I guess this makes you the champion, right? The table names are indicated between the brackets. Oh, right. So, yeah, you can, your postcedent powers, and then, your corruptions. So corruptions are horrible, beautiful, and admirable in the fracture. The masquerade, in order to avoid standing out, uncorrupted souls and those with invisible corruptions will wear masks or smear dirt on their face. Dirt or feces on their faces to give the appearance of being corrupted. Skull features of a mythic being, protruding skeletal details, abyssal ivory head. Wow, lots of corruptions. Nice. Yeah. So, satanic corruption. So they based on, this is just generic. Yeah, these are just general corruptions. These are satanic corruptions. And then your dark marks, willingly or subconsciously given to you by your master. Your dark marks are part of your fate. If you are carrying a dark mark of the king, you are meant to become one. But fate is fickle, and the souls carve their own destinies, which means that you may take a different path than by which your master had planned for you. So your dark mark master. Dark marks are often invisible to others. So the abominating, Lilith only, the alchemist, the assassin, and so these are different levels give you different. Looks like abilities you can trigger, or bonuses to health and things. The behemoth, berserker, the blacksmith, the blood oracle, the bull, cartographer, the chronoseer, the cultist, the the digital, the dragon, the executioner, the faithful, the foul, the fool, the hanged man, high priestess, holy diver. Oh, I'm starting to think this may be where the tarot, the tarot comes in. The dark marks might be the tarot cards. The immortal, the king, the keeper of secrets, the lover, the merchant, the messenger, the murderer, the mystic, navigator, necromancer, the silent giant, the sphinx, the survivor, the torturer, the traitor, the tyrant, the whore, the witch. Yeah, I believe that's probably where our dark marks are going to be, our tarot cards. And your destiny. So your destiny is from Jaeger to Witch on a D20. A rare blood, an artisan, a muse. So being the great dark souls. So most souls loiter about, devoted to satiating their urges and avoiding their fears, but some spend their time pursuing dreams and even seeking to make their own life better. Death singers are an exception, as they seek a higher purpose or life of exploration and adventure, which is characterized by their destinies. The destiny is your life's choice and how they have spent their lives in the fracture. So if you create a character without a destiny, simply distribute your specialization among all the skill trees and roll your demon with a D20. So yeah, the Jaeger. So yeah, these are kind of our branching skills. The Jaeger, the mystic, the knight, the necronaut, the death weaver, the muse, the artisan, the rare blood, the Elysian, the psychotech, doctor, and witch. Lots of really great art. And Elysians. So yeah, they'll go through and describe each. So in the fracture, a myriad of Elysians exist, serving as champions of various gods and entities. The Elysian entities, like Anubis, possess many types of Elysians under their control, resulting in a variety surpassing the countless entities within the fractured world. So feel free to expand and create your own. Nice. Yeah, Death-stalking Anubis, Blood Goats of Dionysus, the Valkyries of Phrygia. Skills. So your affinity, conduct, fable, or satisfy. So using skills in-game, there's no wrong or right way when choosing skills to roll, and the GM can give you the option of several to choose from. So they give you some examples. So for conduct, make a public briefly spellbound. For fable, make a story go viral for a night. Satisfy, make someone attracted to you for an evening. The arcane arts, abyssal rituals, alchemy tech, divine rituals, crafts, ancient tech, Genesis tech, and hero tech, and secular tech. I think we saw those. Duke Barbatos, the Marquis Amon. Yeah, lots of little details to read. Infernal Survival, Apothecary, Dark Connections, Emergency Aid, Navigate, Literacy, Domains, Medicine, Pantheon, and Psychology. Movement, Climb, Jump, Maneuver, Throw, Perception, Listen, Read Situation, and Scrounge, and Sixth Sense. Shadowy, Disguise, Lockpick, Sleight of Hand, and Stealth. Yeah, these are sounding much more standard, much more comprehensible. Warfare, Melee Finesse, Melee Slashing, Melee Crushing, Range Precision, Range Automatic, Range Heavy, and your Inner Demons. Oh, here we go. Here's more of our, maybe some of our more explicit pages. So all souls in the fracture struggle with inner demons. While some manage it well, some let their demons control their whole lives. Your inner demon is a creature of unending appetite. So lust, demon, your kink is satisfy. Your fear reactions are vertigo, violent, thirst, fumbling, hysterical undressing, Blindness. The gluttony demon, your kink is scrounge. Your fear reactions are chest pain, shortness of breath, puking, eating gear, or self-cannibalism. Oof. All right, the greed demon. Kink is sleight of hand. Fear reaction is hyperventilating, small talk, hiding, maniacal laughing, and hysteria. The sloth demon, the kink is fable. Your fear reactions are acting in slow motion, nausea. Wrath demon, the kink is a single warfare skill of your choice. Your fear reactions are chills, confusion, and self-harm. Envy demon, your kink is listen. Your fear reactions are shivers, howls, delusions, and controllable screams. Pride demon, your kink is conduct. Chest pains, and dryness of mouth, and staring at nothingness are your fear reactions. All right, the death and decay. All right, so life and the art of dying. So there are two ways of dying in the fracture: the death dream and the true death. The former leads to the latter by slow corruption if no greater deity intervenes. The masters of death singers pull the spirits of their champions from the death dream, avoiding true death, and can do this many times until the soul of the death singer has become too corrupted. So the left points are your health. It represents how much damage you can take. You will die. Recovery, about 1 per hour, 1 health point per hour. And your threshold, if a single wound, you lose more health than your threshold, then the wound truth you suffer is permanent. And it means it will stay with you until you die. So damage and wound truths. When you take damage, the GM announces your wound truth, which you will add to your character sheet, marking it with an asterisk. If the GM says it is permanent, the actual health loss is only suffered when you are able to realize how hurt you are, which is determined by the GM or by the specific mechanic. When the damage is taken within a conflict, the health loss usually happens when the conflict ends. So all instances of health loss are based on a tier. The damage tier is solely meant to guide the GM on how bad the wound is. It can be as high as the health loss. The damage will inflict going up to disintegrate X or loses equal or greater than 10. The GM reduces the damage you take with your armor value of your gear. Heavy armor will not make any difference against poisoned wine. Good to remember. So special damage sources, fall. And impacts, tick damage, hostile environments. Death has depletion and the death dream. So it starts with a vision, often including a dreamlike episode of your human life or afterlife. This vision can be played like a scene and may be interwoven into the story. The dream ends with a moment of horrific clarity where eternal death, the being who brings true death to souls, emerges from its lair and reaches out to collect you. Liliths do not experience the death dream. Instead, they wander in the deep until their master intervenes and they decide to dress up in their prepared fresh flesh suit. So you just move to another. So there's death checks and the express dream corpses. So the true death, when you are in your last song, you will get no death check. After the death dream, instead experiencing the true death. Your soul is now too corrupt for your master to access, or at least too much for them to bother stitching together again. So escaping death, there are several ways. Liliths do not have a soul. The mythic, so deep within the fracture, on top of a mountainous island in the middle of the river Leith, stands the mythic soul loom. Souls facing their last song are enticed to make a pilgrimage. So you can, you get a clean slate in exchange for a fair tribute. You can surely try, beg your way out of it. So true death of the gods, apart from the Eternals and the worm gods, all other kinds of entities can experience true death. Sanity and the art of satiating demons. All right, so sanity points are your mental health and your ability to endure fear and distress. You lose sanity more than your threshold in a single instance. Your inner demon beckons and disturbs your thoughts. So recovery and thresholds are just like health, and then your kink, itches and cravings, and your fear. So fear is an instant sanity loss. Depletion and awakening. Aura and the art of becoming a monster. So aura is the resistance to unlight and the derivatives taking control of you. The loss of more aura than your threshold. In a single session, you suffer an unlight sickness and you lose all aura. You gain a corruption. It says recovery and a threshold. Unlike radiation, some locations are so corrupt that they radiate darkness, depleting your aura. So if you lose all of your aura, a corruption blossoms in you. And then getting a corruption, describe how the corruption manifests itself. A dark flowery burst in blood or meat grows out of you, and how the sensation of the new power flowing inside you feels. And so, yeah, location and, so that's for the radiation, the depletion of unlight. Audiences. Audience check. Whenever you are granted an audience with your master due to dying or leveling, you have that one chance to impress them with an audience check. Interesting. So the results of success and failure and a botch. And there's an optional rule for a total party kill. Blessings. The more story points you have in your audience check, the better your blessing. You can always choose to receive blessings of a lesser tier instead. So mundane all the way to legendary. Often a possident power. Wow. Leveling your up connection. So connection leveling costs. Increasing ranks of your dark marks, a spontaneous audience. If you embrace and indulge in your master's domains, you have a much higher chance of developing a good relationship and with them and reaping the benefits of their great blessing. Trouble and treasure. Conflict. So conflicts are divided into verses. Each verse has an end trouble. In the verse, as the verse starts, it's a declaration and ends with its resolution. And in between that, the party acts first, with each character performing an action, followed by the GM and their adversary activation and the character's defense checks. The players are free to choose the order in which the characters will be activated. Troubles. Each verse has an end trouble, which describes what will happen at the end of the verse if no one manages to prevent it. The GM may create end troubles anew, or choose from the adversary's description. Example troubles. The space station will crack and lose pressure. The Centurion will blast you with a machine gun. The Great Mother will trap one of you. The Death Wolf will devour one of you. So you're trying to prevent it. So conflict actions: attack, analyze, or flee. So attack rolls. A story point increases your damage tier, and it lets you declare more than one target. You can switch out successful attack actions. Unarmed and improvised weapons, range, augmented attacks, and reloading. Flee. Prepare and protect. I'm going to say protecting in a maneuver where you parry or distract an enemy in order to avoid damage to yourself or to a nearby ally. Taking cover. Adversary activation and defense checks. A defense check is not an action, so everyone is allowed to roll. It works just like a check, and you can only perform defensive maneuvers with any story points generated, such as protecting and covering. So defense rule results: safe and sound, barely safe, wounded, badly wounded. And yeah, the effects of success and failure for defense checks. Wound hierarchy. All characters who fail their defense checks will get hurt in some way. The character who failed the highest result on their dice takes the highest damage. Oh, wow. More adversaries than players, more players than adversaries. So ending the conflict. So after successful checks during the conflict, you may spend 3 or more story points to purchase a special truth. The conflict ends. There is no other way to reach the end of a conflict through truths, and don't try anything funny by introducing normal truths. So when purchasing the conflict ends, you should describe what you are attempting to do that potentially causes the conflict to end. If you're rolling warfare, you probably are trying to kill your adversaries. If you are rolling affinity, you're probably trying to convince them to stop fighting. And movement, you are trying to capture or disarm them. Advantage and disadvantage. Throughout the conflict, there are some. So advantage increased by 5 and disadvantage decreased by 5. So examples of advantage are superior position, environmental advantage, backed up by allies, winning streak. Negative disadvantage examples are in great pain, unbalanced, cornered, drenched in blood. Adversaries are minions, champions, and bosses, and a weak point can be many things, only the GM's imagination, so the armor can be destroyed. Protective measures can be disrupted. And then, the stats for adversaries. So I guess there's probably a section of them. Yes, they're coming right up. All right, so Souls, Legionnaires, Elysians, and Centurions. So Black Horks Command, Pig Fiends, Great Monsters, Plague Locusts, Neither Hounds, Red Swans of Tartarus, Hydra Shark, the Knight? Is that a T? Yes, it is. Arachnite. Harpies, Gardener Demons, Chimera, Deathwolf, Sphinx. Deacons, Cherub, Seraph, Archangels, and our items. So so for equipping, this is our chapter. And so items have conditions, tiers, the name. Oh, so it's like a broken masterful bottle that contains a liquid of fire at night. So when you define an item, there are 4 steps. The condition, almost all items have a condition. The tier that you're going to roll, and then the item type. So consumable, gear, vestige, valuable, or undefined. And then a triptych trait. The final step is defining an item, determining its triptych trait. The GM may select these traits, or they may be generated randomly. If they're consumable or a vestige, there's a feature that provides a direct connection to its origin. Origin role feature on the following page for vestiges, and then gear has a descent. It determines bonuses and features. Inspecting items. And here's generating items. So lots of D100 tables. A dangerous, burning, blazing. Oh, these are for different augments, elixirs, grenades, poisons. Oh, that's nice. So they kind of separate them up so you don't get something that is just nonsensical. Vestige feature fragments. So confuses, clouds, darkens, deviant, eats, dust, irritation, harrowed vestiges, secular vestiges. And then upgrading. Oh, so how much it costs to upgrade the quality tier and your level. Oh, and the level of the weapon and consumables. So augmentations. So juice, lots of juice. All consumables have a juice, which determines their effect when used. elixirs and poisons, grenades, bleeding grenades, predefined consumables, booze and food, human skulls, death charms, mead of poetry, black honey, that dark tar-like goo your mother would certainly tell you not to eat, and that you're tempted to anyway. Ingesting it increases your black honey stages, which is sort of like becoming corrupted. You get monstrous abilities, though at the expense of literally becoming more of a monster. Mixing honey is always a bad idea. There's your vestiges. So yeah, all of them get origin. Then some predefined. Aether umbrella, a mask, a nano hose, a metacorder, nano wire, preservation unit. Nice, yeah, a lot of pre-established. And here's gear with their, so attack values, augment values, damage, targets, grade, armor value, grade, and decent bonuses for armor. Yeah, so weapons and armor. And here's some tables for rolling. That's great. Oh, great. And here's some examples. Predefined. Lots of swords. Wow. Malediction Tempest. Cloud Gatherer, Legio. They get bigger and crazier and bloodier. The book is just bleeding. Very cool. And then crafting. So a whole crafting system. Exotic ingredients. Oh, yeah, so the materials are divided between these domains. Ancient, Genesis, Herod, Secular. Looting will give you these materials. And then some valuables and consumables on random tables for those. Valuables and bartering. Harvest tables. All right, magic and mysticism. So ritual, arcane schools, alchemy. So here's our rituals. So there are 7 schools of ritual, all governed by the arcane arts skill tree. Each skill in the tree governs one or more schools, except alchemy tech, which is a whole different thing. So we've got fragments. You learn fragments. There are daily fragments, improvised fragments, and interpretations. To cast a ritual, you need to have learned at least one fragment. A fragment are like a tiny piece of the aspects that together create a ritual effect. Each school has a list from where the fragments can be rolled, although they can sometimes be created by you in conjunction with the GM. So casting a ritual, unless otherwise stated, casting a ritual is an action like anything else, and as much may be performed anytime without the need for any preparation. It must always be the main action. Ritual effects. So here's our schools. Abyssal schools, Death School, Satanic School, Divineness Aether schools with our Salt, Sulfur, and Mercury. Celestial School, Witchcraft, and Alchemy gets its own thing. So infusing with alchemy. See, alchemy in Astro Inferno is all about infusing a core into a shell. So Neuron, Nexus, Sigil, Prime, Eldritch Sigils. And here's progression. So maybe our XP. Yeah, traveling. Our maps and waypoints. Navigating, map making, hardships. Hardship table. Tyrian temples. Wow, lots of temples. Blood, path of blood, quality of the blood tears. Uncorrupted blood is the gold standard, flowing red and thick with power. Ascendancy and blood aether. The power of gods. As a soul ascends, they gain godlike traits. There's a table. Blood relics, nice. All right, the path of black, the black honey. Black honey is a programmable, half-sentient black mass that is assimilated by its host and becomes a part of the body within minutes. There are 5 recipes. There's iron honey, potassium honey, sulfur honey, silver honey, phosphorus honey. The journey, the songs and the song tiers. So songs consist of 3 parts: the fortune, the action, and the target. They have tiers, and using a song, when you decide to use a song, you tell a story to the world and you get story point bonuses, or whichever skill you're doing or you're using for the check. This often makes more sense when used with skills from the affinity tree. In your journey sheet, there's an example there. Leveling. So leveling identity, improving qualities, upgrading living arrangements, improving skills. Book 2, the hot blood. So the unlaw, the outer fracture, the inner fracture, and the abyss. The state of souls. Yeah, it looks more like a lot of background: existence, despair, civilized life, slavery, time. Yeah, this looks like a lot of setting. The masquerade, the infrastructure, the children of fracture. The Satanic Creed, Codex Satanus, Satanic Hearings, Governance, the Inquisition, True Fathers, the Sacrament of Sin and Satanic Churches, the Fracture, Myths of the Fracture, the Deep, the Abyss, the Beyond, Genealogy, the True Unlight, the Ancients, so immortality, rebirths, gods and demons, of demons, the terminology of the entities, souls, beings of spark, beings of unlight spark, gods, true unlit or unlight, and Genesis, birth of gods, beings of unlight spark. So different demons, beings of spark, proto-gods, demigods, nymphs. Fracture factions. So the Herod, the host of the fallen angels, describing their thrones, their serpents, the satanic court, the habemus satanus, lex divinus, barons, harbingers, satanic princes, 7 kings, Satan, the Black Empire, Duke Agres, Duke Velafor, lots of dukes, lots of duchies. Wow, everyone's got their own crazy insignias. Hexen and the Black Honey. So Saul, the Tesseract, and the Covens. Yeah, so the Black Honey seems to be tied to witchcraft. Thelema, Iron Honey, the Black Horrocks, Command, Wormwood, Potassium Honey, Abyss Walkers, Stygiera, Sulfur Honey, the Death Divers, Birch Moon, Silver Honey, the Nether Navigators, Sacred Flame, Phosphor Honey, Imperials, and then the Ancients, beings of the Spark, Elysians, Ascended Souls, and Titans. And gods. Rebirth, re-death. Not even gods have answers. The Genesis. Nanites, Holtzfields and Adventures. Think of Holtzfields as a combination of computer and being that are very hard to kill, persuade, or trick. And there are ghosts. Machina, the red souls. Those are the red gods. The Blood Yarn, the Great Ones, the Machine Angels, and then locations. Babylon, Marduk, the Sun Calf, Port of Babylon, the Horrors of Babylon, the 6 Temples, establishments, the maps, the Midnight Sea, Old Babylon, the Treasures of the Midnight Sea, Leaks, the Citadel. Vice and Sin in the Citadel. Haxan Presence. Souls of the Citadel. The Infernal Syndicate. The Court of Opulence. The Underground. Darkened Asgard. The Iron Gates. The Bifrost. What is that? Sorg, Solier. The Halls of Sorrow. Valhalla. The Legends of Yggdrasil. Yeah, I think we've got a tree map to look at. The Prism Satellite. Bees in the Wharf, right? The Anhar. Mimir Shurnarn. The City of Agartha. Fulkvanarg. And different establishments and the maps. The Burning Olympus. So yeah, corrupted versions of all kinds of mythic cultures. Dark Temple of Zeus, Medusa. Different locations. Hades, the underworld. House of Hades. Mephistopheles. And different establishments and maps. Manu, the Fields of Reeds, the City of Heliopolis. Horus, Isis, the Third Book of the Dead. The Golden Legion, and establishments and maps. Nis, the City of Satan. The Seal of Birth. Renowned places of... Am I saying that right? Nis? Is that an N? Nis. And then establishments and maps. The Derelict Hells. Oh yeah, look at these. 3 white, red, and black ribbon bookmarks. The Abyss. The Desert of Rust. Alzu. Morning Star's Kiss. The Dark Reflections. Helix, Cacophony, Pandemonium, The Hollow, Shadowed Babylon, Abyssal Manor of Hades, Gloomopolis, The Mirror Worm, Loops and Gates, Fractured Past, The Rapture, Damnation, The Great Dark, Legends and the Rise of the Ancients. And then book 3, The Hollow Heart. So there's the Game Master section. So some secret lore, so we shouldn't look. Sacraments of Fear, Sacraments of Complex Tasks. The Lie and Aspects of Truth. Triggered and End Troubles. Shock and Awe, Power of Features. Oh, and here's our Tree of Death. Liturgy of the Etheria. Yeah, here's our map of souls. The Tree of Lilith, the Birthing Sacs, the Soul Core, the Harvesting Souls, Reborn Souls, Collecting Service, Love, the Great Dungeons. So inside the Wrath of God. So there's all the creatures. Red Dust creating the dungeons. Wow, nice. There's anything inside the Dark Orb. Oh yeah, this is one of the micro adventures. So you can try out your characters. The Passion of the Devil is another micro adventure. Nice. All these black metal logos. Very cool. Hunter Francis. Oh yeah, so these are all the credits for everyone that's contributed. Nice. Very cool. All right. Yeah, so those are, I think, our backer credits. And then Leviathan is the 14th Serpent. What is this? Aspects of Leviathan, the Raven. Oh, wow. Just some nice descriptions of locations with a really great art. The Temple. Astro Inferno, Labor of Love. Here's all the credits for, and his recommended music and books and movies. And games as well. Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. Nice. And then a little index and then credits. Wow. Okay. Well, that was quite a book. Look at that. We made it all the way through. So, that was, you got to be careful closing it because it's not connected. So that was Astro Inferno, their whole core book. And that was quite a trip. There's a lot of different aspects from, I think, inspiration from different systems and settings and things in here. And of course, all very dark and satanic, but very interesting. Let's take a quick look at, so these were included in the book. I think for this version, this legendary version, they gave you a printed map. So that map that we saw in the book, here's the Tree of Death map on the same paper with that same treatment. Oh, and it's two-sided. So we also have the locations. So a table for generating locations with a prefix, a place, and an origin. That's great. And this was our satanic journal that they made reference to in character creation. Oh, so maybe this is just like a guide with all of the tables for just as a help, so you don't have to wield this huge tome for different ideas of gear and different things you have to generate. So kind of all the tables, and here's our maps and things. And let's take a look at so our artifacts and location generation. But let's look at, here's the journey sheet for the party. And then here is the character sheet. Wow. Yeah, your form, your destiny, and your past. And then, all of your weapons, armor, belongings, the fragments, materials, and loot. And then all of your tales to be written, all the songs. Wow. Cool. Yeah, these are all the treatment. This paper is great. The treatment is really nice. So those were included in this set. I think they can be purchased separately, like as a pack, as an add-on. But that's not all. We also have the screen. So let's take a look. This is one of those low, but it looks like really wide. A really wide jams screen. So it had a paper insert with some more tables for rolling, and nice art, and it's got a nice woven, like a nice texture to it. So not glossy and very wide. So it's square panels. It looks like no, not quite, but more like a maybe B4. So 4 panels of B4 with very colorful art. And then all of your tables that you would need for activations and defense checks, conflict, triggering troubles, what to keep track of in conflict, death checks, audience checks, blessings. Yeah, all that stuff you don't want to have to look up in game. And really great art. And then the game logo on the side there. All right. And finally, let's see if I was right about what these may be. We have the cards. So these were an optional add-on, but they looked, if it was going to be anything like what they were going to produce for here, you've got to have their tarot cards. So yeah, nice black box and a huge deck of cards. So the Inertial Star, the physical laws of the universe dictated that nothing was ever truly lost. Oh, some more Montgomery Wild's journal. And some nice iconography. So here is our cards. Ah, yes. So this is the tarot of the Inertial Star. So this will give you, kind of the key to what everything is represented. So we've got mercury, silver, tin, sulfur. So the ways of using them is as plot hooks. Draw a card to create a spontaneous plot hook. Fleshing out a scene. Spice up a story with given locations and personalities, NPCs, antagonists, random events. Dynamic obstacles. Treasure and artifacts. Mythic guidance. Cosmic events. Dungeon design. Or create songs and symphonies. So here's how to lay them out for reads. Wow, so actually used like tarot. Nice. So the Undying, the Mystic. Yeah, so these are the dark marks as well, I believe. Father, the Magistrate, Path of Blood, Genesis, Angels. Since Destiny, no, though it is actually a tarot. It's actually a tarot deck. And so then it gives you kind of suggestions. So Animal Pen, Infernal Contract, Sizzling Sigils. It gives you ways to interpret and to add to the reads. Wow. So Final Gate, River Sacrifice, the Nine Hells. Lots of art. Wow. Beyond. I'll have these backs. The Worm Gods, the Eternals. What is that? Damocles? Oh, Damocles, yeah, the Sword of Damocles, right? Creation, Prophecy, War, Whispers of Serpents, the Flow of Unlight, the Unwill of Life, and see all of them. Infirmary, Tear the Veil, Sip the Nectar, Aching Tissue, Scorned Skin, Every Atom Awakens in Anger. Figures of Oblivion, the Searing Damnation, the Eternal Lament, Cauldron of Vengeance, the Passage of Delirium, Pool of Desire, the Fall of Masquerade, the False Masquerade, Fruit of Profanity, Mist of Mirage, Pinnacle of Heresy, Ancient Divinity, Fires of Ruin, Ether of Chaos, the Reign of Sorrow, Monolith of the Dead Slumber, Maelstrom of the Fathoms, Drowning Lunacy, A Sanctuary of Desolation, Thin Line of Malice, The Stalking Lethargy, Gates of Disorder, The Abyss, The Midnight Sea, The Towers of Babel, Tower, The Burning Olympus, Forest Cathedral of Rio Silva, Grave of the Earl, Naxon Facility E9 782, The Maelstrom, The Beanstalk, The Crimson Falls of Carcosa. Wow, we're not even halfway through. It's all of these locations. And I guess at the end here, wait a minute. Yeah, so that's the end. Oh, no, it's not quite. What do we have here? So the tarot ends. Whoa. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, it goes. I thought they all had, they all have different marks. But no, this is still all of the tarot. Wow. The Stairs of Kur, the Well of Dazak, Bel Shalat, the Pit of Corruption, Ganzir, the Citadel, the City Tombs of Thinis, the Church of Eternally Wretched, the Black City of Calatheron, the Divine Tree of Suffering, Asmodeus, Blood Loom, Blood Venice, the Halls of Sorrow, the Gourd Salier, the First City of Babylon, the Dark Valhalla, Eternal Dawn of Heliopolis, Depths of Hades, the Hollow Wormwood, the City of Satan, Dis. It's a D, that's definitely a D. Exalted Morning Star, the Burning Valkyrie, the Loving Great Mother, Endless Goddess, the Smiling Demon, the Weeping Knight, the Anonymous Woman, the Seven-Headed Hydra, the Enamored Young Prince, the Merciful Prime Witch, the Crucified Innocent, Benevolent Blood Oracle, Defended Machine, the Revenant Titan, the Black Messenger, Frozen High Witch, Satanic Entity, Pathetic Set Genesis Soul, Enigmatic Lilith, the Insubordinate Witch, the Valiant Ashen Soul, the Great Centurion, the Devious Rare Blood, the Seductive Nanosuit, the Ignorant Patron, the Psychopath Lost God, the Treacherous Queen, Deathless King, the Cursed Wedding, the Dancing Ball, Grotesque Auction, the Hateful Contest, the Anticipated Arrival, the Continuous Marshalling, the Wretched Election, Eerie Seance, the Tragic Tournament, the Majestic Parade, the Horrible Text Collection. That's very horrible. The Salvage Expedition, Inconvenient Riot, the Weighted Execution, the Disastrous Funeral, the Second, the Dark Ceremony, the Ill-Omened Carnival, the Rancid Chase, Eminent Phenomena, the Blistering Plague, the Sacred Hunt, the Cursed Pilgrimage, the Spectacular Show, the Unjust Duel, the Miserable Courtship, Savage Argument, the House of Hearing, the Derailed House Hearing, the Rotting Feast, Satanic King Asmodeus, Satanic King Baal, Satanic King Beloth, Satanic King Belial, Satanic King Paimon, Satanic King Person, and the Satanic King Zagan. And he's got the Eternal Trust and the Worm God Discord. Yeah, so there's, looks like a couple of different categories. This was, looks like a little bit of a printing error. I was wondering why that texture was different, but this one got a little bit of, and maybe there's a reason, but it looks like it just got caught on some rollers. But the cards are nice. The colors reproduced well. They're not coated. I like the nice woven texture of the screen. These are coated. They're not textured. They're nice. Kind of a like a satin coat on them. But I thought they'd be a little bit more textured, a little heavier, because everything else is very heavy, but maybe there were so many of them, and they wanted to produce this art well. So I think that treatment is the best. But I thought they would be heavier, but they sure are a lot of them. That is an insane amount of art that they had to produce just for the tarot. But really beautiful stuff. All right, and so here's the foil treatment on the box. So this was the tarot. So I don't think there were any dice that were made, or maybe they were, but they weren't anything like spectacular. But this has been Astro Inferno by Haxan Studios, and they're currently kickstarting their crowdfunding, their campaign, their first full-scale campaign. So we have some micro adventures in this book, but their full-scale campaign is now funding. If you were a backer of this campaign, they will give you the PDF for free. The kind of this higher level version, kind of director's cut version, I think, is a thank you for supporting this. They really, you can see the money. The money was spent well. There's some really gorgeous production values here, and an insane amount of art. There was nothing that looked, AI generated. It all looked like human-made digital art, and a lot of really great, beautiful concepts. A lot of very painterly work in here, and the design and layout of everything was just wonderful. The quality of this unattached binding on this version is great, and all the effects on the page edges and things are really, really cool. So if this is something you think you could convince a group to play, which may be my challenge, check this out. Of course, there's PDF versions of everything. And I think since this has already shipped and been fulfilled, it's available pretty much everywhere you get your digital RPGs. I'll put a link. If there's a drive-through link, I'll put everything in the description. But thank you for watching. This has been Astro Inferno, and a really crazy combination, just a mashup of everything, all in a big satanic hell setting. So yeah, if this appeals to you and you like this, it kind of goes beyond grimdark into this just, madness, this madness of influences, but a very interesting system, and looks like it's a lot of fun to tell a very, very dark story. So thanks for watching. Please give us a like on the video if you enjoyed going through this. It doesn't look like we're going to need to do a Patreon uncensored version. There wasn't anything in there that I think is going to get us dinged, but if that happens, I will do that and put a link on this video or at least a post telling you where to find this. So subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified of our live streams and everything we do. The weekly is our Thursday night kind of wrap up of tabletop on the week of the week, and we do an actual play series on Friday nights. So thank you for joining me, and we will be back again soon. Goodbye.